Elgin Media Award, I watched my review for the Wolverine, saw the cinemas yesterday, and I gotta say, what an impressive movie. A really excellent story, based upon the Frank Miller graphic novel from the Wolverine being in Japan, and I gotta say, it's really terrific. I've seen a huge side of the Wolverine character, which I've never seen before. Hugh Jackman definitely nails it and brings a side to the character which I've never seen, and he does a fantastic job. Fight scenes are great, actual blood on the claws. Stunning, absolutely stunning. So let's talk about the Wolverine. Why did you break up the sun? The movie's after the events of The Last Stand. We see Wolverine's character continue on, living, roughly. He's a broken man. He's not the Wolverine anymore. He's just a broken person. After killing Jean Grey within The Last Stand, he physically just cannot take it anymore. He's losing everyone that he loves, and he just sees visions of her. He kind of sees it. He talks to her while he's having dreams and stuff, and he just can't let go. He is not a soldier anymore. He does not want to live anymore. And it's the idea of seeing, the Wolverine pushed to a certain limit, which you've never seen before, on screen, and it's really fantastic. And he swears he's never going to kill anybody again. A Japanese woman approaches him and says, a person you saved a long time ago back in Japan wants to say his final regards and wants to say thank you, for saving his life, and come to Japan, for a couple of days, and then you can go back, kind of thing. And he does, and he goes to Japan, and we get to see a really fantastic open world culture. We get to see the history and customs, and the mannerisms of Japan, the Japan world in a sense, and it's visually stunning. The scenery, the sights are really fantastic, and we get some really fantastic actors also to play these characters, and we just see Logan, a character which is so culturistic, if that's the right word. Someone that does what he wants when he wants. No limits. It's interesting to put him in a situation where he's his power has been taken away from him, his healing abilities, and he's kind of vulnerable for a good portion of the movie, and he's just, he gets shot and he bleeds out, and he has to try and save this woman who's been, targeted for assassination, and he feels obliged to protect her. He doesn't want to, in all fairness, he doesn't want to do any of this, but he's still that good-hearted person. He still wants to do the right thing. I think from the events of the X-Men movies, and from what we've seen of him from all these other movies, he is still the same person. He just, he finds a way of redemption. He's willing to put his life at risk just to try and save, and I really like the idea of that. It bonds a kind of a love interest, which is very natural, and it's done quite well in a sense of just how they've got together and how the events of the movie plays out. The story, I think, is absolutely fantastic, and I think it's more of a drama side to the actual character that we've seen before. Hugh Jackman definitely nails it as of course Wolverine. He's playing the character for 6 years now to this movie, and he's just, again, he still brings so many elements and so many different features to the character which I've never seen before. From a broken person, from a guy that just can't heal, and he's still fighting, still struggling, and he's willing to do anything. And there's definitely a couple of scenes which really surprised me, really shocked me within the movie. A couple of decisions which are like, wow, I didn't see that coming, and it's like interesting because you get to see a bit more, something new, a bit fresh, and it's like taking the character and simply doing something more with it, put him in a situation which is a bit more different. And I really like the approach of the movie, and I like the love interest. I really like some of the villains in it. We do have one of our main villains is the Viper, a kind of a mutant, suppresses powers. She's an okay villain. She's not as strong as Magneto or anything along those lines. She's an okay villain. She does the job well. I felt dialogue scenes between her and Logan I thought were pretty interesting. She definitely is a cold-hearted bitch, definitely. Yeah, I think she did an okay job considering, it wasn't about the villain character. She was a side story as a person, but she did the job quite well, and she definitely was. She definitely kicked ass in some of the scenes, so fair play to her. The Japanese woman, the psychic woman that Logan has, I forgot her name, but she's actually really impressive, and I felt she was really good in the movie. I felt, yeah, I like her character a lot. I can relate to her. There's enough character development background to her person. She has the ability to see in the future, and she really sides with Logan's character a lot, and she helps him through the stage of the movie. Even when he's injured, she has these kind of comedy-like scenes with Logan. It's really fantastic, and I definitely hope they bring a character back within future movies, because I felt there's going to be more developed with her. And yeah, I definitely think she kicks ass. I think she, especially with the samurai sword, and she definitely does a really fantastic job as an actual character and as a badass woman in a sense, so impressive job. Also have the Silver Samurai in this movie, which I'm not going to say too much for spoiler reasons, but the Silver Samurai did an okay job, I think, perfectly honest. Definitely kicks some ass for sure. There's definitely a couple of twists and turns that happen within the movie. The Silver Samurai was introduced in the last half, the third act of the actual movie, and then we get like a huge kind of action, comic book action scene, which is absolutely fantastic. The pacing in this movie, I think, is really well done, perfectly honest. The movie is definitely more of a drama. There's definitely, you know, character journey. It's a character journey movie, you know, resolving his demons and, you know, trying to do what's right, and, you know, through this culture, through the, you know, his love interest and through the people around him, he can kind of redeem himself and find a purpose again within the world. And I really like the idea that it's a character-driven movie, and it breaks up with a couple of good action scenes. The train bullet scene, fantastic. I love that scene. That was great. Lots of fast-paced action. When he's at the funeral, yeah, just the action scenes are done well. There's definitely some good bloody scenes as well, but you can tell some blood on the actual knives, and there's definitely when he gets shot, there's blood pumping out and stuff like that. The movie is quite violent for a 12A. I was really surprised how violent it was. There is officially going to be an unrated version on the Blu-ray, so keep that in mind. The director have already stated that if this did happen, he made 2 versions deliberately to make the 12A PG-13 the most violent as can possible, and there's definitely 1 or 2 scenes in the movie which you can say, yeah, that's violent, but they're just getting away with it, I think. And I think the unrated version, we're adding a couple of those extra fight scenes, a couple of extra bloody scenes as well, but definitely satisfying. And yes, it's definitely better than X-Men Origins for sure, I guarantee that. It's a very well done sequel to the X-Men trilogy. It continues on the path of that, and I think it builds up, you know, certain elements, you know, reflects on Last Stand massively, which makes Last Stand even better as a movie, and, you know, reflects on the character even more. And I like the idea of him, you know, Jean Grey's in a lot more than I thought she was going to be, and I thought she was going to be a simple minor cameo, but she's actually in it for a good portion of the movie, so that's quite interesting. Again, it's the idea of Logan trying to let go of her and trying to, you know, resolve his issues with what he did, you know, killing her, of course, from Last Stand. But I really like the idea of that. They didn't just like say she's in a quick cameo, quick one scene. They actually reflected on that, and they showed different elements of the character, you know, and we saw a lot of different things, and there's definitely got some comedy elements, definitely a couple, 1 or 2 of the scenes, and I think it's done quite well. And there's 1 or 2 scenes thinking, holy shit, you know, they're really going to go that path, and there's definitely a couple, 1 or 2 surprises for sure. So I was really impressed with the movie. I think it was a real well done drama from start to finish, good action scenes, lots of blood in some places, best Hugh Jackman version of you know, the Wolverine I've seen to date, perfectly honest, and he still manages to bring something fantastic to the character, and he definitely worked hard in making this the proper Wolverine experience, spin-off movie, which is great. So that's been my view for the Wolverine. I hope you enjoyed watching this video. Planning on watching this movie soon. Make sure you stay after the credits so you can see a little extra scene, which is definitely worthwhile for sure. I'm doing a video on that soon, and yeah, definitely gets you pumped up for a certain movie that's coming out soon. So if you've seen the movie, what do you think? Do you think it was good? Do you think it was bad? I'd love to know your opinions. Comment down below. In the meantime, Andrew from MediaWorld from MTV. Signing out.